Well, hello and welcome. Yes, we're back. Yeah, I must admit, I didn't think we'd be back either, but it's episode 3, 5 topics of life. You got something out there that's bothering you? You don't know how to handle a day in your life? Something's just struggling? Well, you need advice, just something simple. Well, you got to get in touch with us. It's 5 topics of life. And we go through all the type of topics that, you might struggle, you might find in life. We've dealt with shopping trolleys. Should they be returned? Should you just leave them? What kind of people just leave them there? Blue light discos for those back in the ages. Hands-free. You know those people that sit there and talk with their arms? Those that bring cheap alcohol to a party but drink dear alcohol? Oh, what about those people? Well, then bring some to the party and then take it back home. When you get onto a plane, do you squeeze into your aisle seat, into your window seat front first? Or do you put your backside to the people? Have you ever been moved from an emergency row because you weren't capable of helping people? It's astonishing. And should you enrol in kids' activities? One man that was barred by the police force from enrolling in his kids' activity is the great man Sparty. Welcome back, episode 3, great man.
Hey, Richie, how you going, mate? Yeah, look, I'm lucky it's only for a couple of weeks. It was just a misunderstanding. I did a forward roll when I was supposed to do a backflip. So can we not talk about it?
Can I just say one thing? One of your topics today, I think is plain genius.
Thank you.
We're going to get to that.
Yes.
Genius.
Okay.
Now, can I just, before we start, I thought we might just get into the topics. I thought we might just start with a little bit of humour that you and I witnessed on Saturday night.
Yes.
Being in, we went to the horse sales over at Inglis at Warwick Farm.
Yes.
And we're sitting on a table with 3 gentlemen that part own a very impressive sprinter called Nature Strip. And it won a big race in Melbourne, the Rubiton on Saturday. And they'll sit next to 2 other people on our table. And the lady on our table politely looked at when everyone was congratulating them, and she said, "Oh, congratulations." They said, "Thanks very much." He then said, "Do you own horses?" And she said, "Yes, I do."
Yes.
He then said, "Oh, what's the best horse you own?" With a little bit of a chest beating out because he's got Nature Strip.
He was happy.
And the lady replied,
"Winks."
It was, of course, Paddy Ty. Yeah. Peter and Paddy Ty. What about that? He handled it a treat.
I was going to say, he
handled it a treat.
He handled it so well.
But he did get the surprise of his life. He said, yes, Nature Strip, well done. You own a few horses? Yes, I do. What's the best one you've got? Thinking she was going to say one that's won at Dubbo or Grafton.
Yes.
Winks. Yes. He said, okay, back at me, Brock. He said, let's have an enjoyable
I think they call that a social faux pas.
It was very funny,
It was funny.
Right, let's get stuck into it.
Yep.
And now you're coming up to how many years of marriage?
25 next month, yes.
25.
Yeah.
I'm almost at 19. Happily 18 months.
Yeah.
But officially by the law 19 years. It's just frightening.
Yeah.
And we've seen this, and you and I witnessed this at a
let's just say a pub.
Drinking hole the other day.
We'll say a pub. Yeah.
We think it was a first date, or they might have just met on Tinder, but it just it goes further than this.
It does.
They were sitting in a hotel. They were holding hands.
They were doing a few things.
But they were holding hands.
So firstly, they seemed to genuinely be interested in each other.
Yeah, so
that
was a giveaway that they've just met.
That's weird. They were holding hands in a pub and deeply engaged in conversation. They cared about what each other was saying. And
she shouted twice to his once, but he did buy the food.
He bought the food, but he was drinking red wine. She was drinking beer.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
He ate a salad,
yes,
and she hoed into
the chips.
Exactly. So they were a bit of.
It was a wonderful social.
It was
experiment.
great, and we're just standing there minding our own business, and then I've got a certificate from TAFE in eavesdropping. I'm actually very, very good at it. I said to Richie, "Listen, what's going on over here?" So that kept us amused.
And there was half a dozen polite giggles at each other.
Oh yeah, you know what? They care for each other. So what we want to know is at what point in a relationship does the public hand-holding start and stop?
Yesterday morning I was driving and I would have seen an older couple. And when I say old, I'd say 80.
Yeah.
Walking down a street holding hands.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
That's lovely.
Do you think they just met on Tinder?
No.
No. Oh, right. They've been together a while, you reckon?
They were going back home to see if anyone had rang their landline. They didn't have a mobile phone. Right.
Well, yeah. Look, I think,
and
that's great.
I said to the gentleman, "What about Wi-Fi?"
Yeah.
He said, "Who is he?"
Who's he play for? What did? So where are you at? You wouldn't be a hand holder.
I've never been a hand holder.
Oh, yeah. I'm a hand holder. Yeah.
No, we barely talk, let alone hold hands.
I've noticed.
Do you hold hands?
Yeah. I'm a hand holder. Depends what day of the week it is, of course, and what's perhaps going to
What
happen.
circumstance would you hold your beautiful wife's hand?
Well, what I do when we pull up to, say, a shopping centre, if we're going to see a film, I will go around on that particular night, open her door, and then out, and we'll hold our hands to the cinema and then sit in our seats. And perhaps there's always just a touch. Richie, it's a connection.
Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's why I've been married so happily for 25 years.
It's sad to think, but I'm thinking now, when was the last time I held my wife's hand? And,
well, you know what you're going to do today? You're going to hold your wife's hand.
no, I won't, but
I think you should.
mate, she'll be all sweaty after she does the lawns.
Well, and cooking and anyway, give us some feedback on that. And where did we end up? They were Tinder date?
They were the first, yeah.
Or had they worked together in HR?
No. I asked the gentleman when, and I'll be honest, he was getting the far better end of the deal, I thought.
By a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was...
he's one of those blokes, that's bald, totally bald.
Yeah.
And then they grow the beard.
The beard. Yeah, bald bearder, they call them, I think.
Yeah. Just turn the head up the other way.
Yeah.
The hair on the top.
Yeah, they can't get it to go sort of north of the ear.
They just go south.
It just stops.
She had a very short skirt on for it. And
Stop it, behave yourself.
She was no spring chicken. She was a nice girl.
What? She was 30.
So I said, no spring chicken.
What? Oh, actually, you know what I forgot? I reckon it was the second go. We had this discussion.
Second date?
Yeah, no, second married. Like, crack it.
Oh,
first bloke. What was your...
No,
when I said you, what do you reckon happened?
I said she was a chance that, she got married and then brushed, but he was...
Oh, they got engaged when she...
No, she could have been married or could have been engaged, but she was having another crack around.
Yes, for sure.
This bloke just...
Well, he just come out of mum's...
And
he's come out of mum's basement.
Yeah,
and he was...
He said, Mummy, I'm going out.
Mum, I'm going out. Is that okay? Can I have the keys to the Corolla? Yeah.
And this comes from Sammy Dowd, a lovely lady on Twitter.
Yeah.
This is the double Bowser takers. And you know what, Sammy? I'm with you here. You know that when there's at the petrol station and they park their car in such a ridiculous spot that they use both Bowsers.
They do.
And you can't get to your Bowser.
So what they do, they park mid-parkers. They're mid-parkers, and then they'll reach the hose around, and it just reaches.
Just reaches.
That's normally the first tip. I should move forward. So it just reaches. In the process, they've spilt fuel everywhere. And then they do that, so they just have it in a position that the next person can't come in. And Sammy, I knew as soon as I saw this that this is going to get Richie's goat, and that's why I've put it forward. But then the next step on it, which I'll add, is that they've done their mid-bowsering, they've filled up, they've gone in, and shopping petrol stations have these shops now. You can basically do your groceries there if you really wanted to.
Can I just say that when I used to live, before I was married, with a bloke called Greg Radley, who does Sky Channel, and the late, great Nick Roman, we all lived together for a little period of time, and but Nick's been dead 14 years, which is so sad. He was a great man. But Greg and I lived together not far from where I live now. And we shopped at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And you don't realise that the price differences between 7-Eleven
it's
and
substantial.
a proper supermarket.
It's substantial. It is.
But we turned our fridge off when we lived together. It was only waste electricity.
Yeah, right. No cooking?
No.
It would have been... Imagine if you had menu log back then.
What about when Greg got... one of the listeners to his radio show sent him 4 cartons of emu pies.
Yeah.
We left them in the fridge, but the fridge wasn't on.
Yeah, right.
And then about a month later, we came home. We thought, like, there was a dead body in the house. We rang the police, and it was these, mate, they had fungi growing out of it.
That's generally what happens.
It was...
But yeah, and anyway,
horrendous.
It would have been, yeah. So then they go in, they shop. So pretty well, they've taken up 2 petrol Bowsers.
Have you ever abused someone for doing it?
No, I don't abuse people.
I don't abuse people. Have you ever pointed the simple fact out?
No, I'll point and head shake.
Oh no, I'll do it politely.
I've seen you, yeah.
I say to my daughter,
first word that comes to mind.
You go and grab her car keys, move the car forward while I just grab them.
It's the first word that comes to mind when you're about to give someone a serve. Polite. Yeah, I just go, here he goes. He's about to be polite again. So those people, I reckon you should be deported. If you do that more than once, and there's video footage, you need to be deported. Righto, what's next?
Now, this is the one that I've...
Yep.
I'm starting to think, and I can honestly say I've never been to one of these venues in 20 years.
Probably till you met me.
But I've been probably 5 times in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and every time I get a photo of it, which is it.
Of course.
Just so you know. Yeah.
Bunnings. Why don't they have a bar?
Mate, I'm the opposite of you. I would go to Bunnings 5 days a week for my normal job. And And I was there the other day, and it was one of those stinking hot days. And I walked in.
I find it strange that you'd go to Bunnings, being a TAFE lecturer, that you go there.
TAFE lecture.
A TAFE lecturer on what subject do you teach?
Oh, well, it depends. Monday, psychology. Tuesday, knitting. Anyway, and it was a stinking hot day, and it was a Friday, and they had sausage, which is another great thing. They're starting to do sausage during the week now, and all credit to Bunnings for that.
Are they?
Yeah, they're not just restricting it to weekends. Some of the big joints.
Can I just tell you that I'm a huge fan of sausage on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of sausage on bread. And I know there's more.
We've done this before.
I know there's more com in it. I know I've said it, but I just want to mention it again.
Yeah.
I know there's more commission in just bread because you just. But
so I'm a sausage, one piece of bread diagonally across, and then I feel comfortable having 4 because I haven't filled up on the bread.
It feels like you're just going bushka.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of like 3 sausages on one roll.
Really? Can you
Onion
fit it?
And tomato. Oh.
Yeah.
Could I fit them on the roll or could I fit it in?
No, I know you could fit it in, but I don't know. Anyway,
let's get back to Bunnings. The bar.
So yeah, I've gone in, I got my sausage, and it's stinking hot, and I thought to myself, I really feel like a beer. Why can they have a trade counter? Why can you get your keys cut? Why can you get plumbing, but you can't get a beer? Surely, I mean, you know a bit more about this than me. What sort of effort would it be for them to get a licence? Why don't they trial it?
It'd be huge to get a licence for the simple fact of the matter that it'd have to be a cordon off there. Although a lot of hotels now and clubs, kids are allowed in, so it's a different world. But obviously, you'd have publicans, you'd have all them fighting against.
Don't you reckon they'd be able to walk around the aisle and serve it to you like we were at the English thing last night? Jeez, I love that when they do that.
It'd have to be a segregated area, just like those other people that have got to go right outside. What do they call them?
Smokers.
Yeah.
Well, I give it a bit more thought, and I always like to not just throw these things out willy-nilly. What could possibly go wrong that you go to get, say, a circular saw, you have a sausage, you have 6 beers.
What's that, just a saw?
That's the one that goes round, yeah. It's a power one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you later. And what could possibly go wrong that you do that, have 6 beers, then go home and then decide to, make a table? So, Bunnings.
There might be a lawsuit in that.
Put a bar in your mongrels.
I used to have 2 arms. No, but I like the idea. I think there's some merit
in principle,
to it.
But imagine it on a Saturday. The husband or the wife would just say, listen, I'm just ducking
but you can leave the pub or leave the club or sit at home.
You could anyway.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there'd be Bunnings where 100 metres up the road there's a pub. So you go and get a skinful there and still go and buy a circular saw.
No, well, you wouldn't get a skinful because they would have done RSA, the responsible source of alcohol.
Well, okay, two beers less than a skinful, right? And then go there and then, so it's actually the same principle. Come on, Bunnings, pull your bloody finger out. You're not earning enough money. I love watching RBT. Do you? So I don't watch those shows.
A lady the other night declared she only had 2 beers.
Yeah.
She was 3 times the legal limit.
Is that an Australian show?
Yeah. Yet there was one lady coming out of Bathurst.
Yeah.
I say Bathurst because my wife goes to the V8s and all that.
Yeah.
And she said, look, I've only had 3 beers, I promise. And she was like well over.
Yeah.
1.12.
Yeah.
And the copper all laughed at her.
Yeah.
And she's only weighs 42 kilos.
Right.
Wringing wet. She was tiny.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, back at the police station.
Yeah.
Under.
The
copper shook his head. He said, she was telling the truth because she was so light.
Right. I thought you were going to say it was a bloke who had a few at Bathurst and then got all the way to Lithgow before he got pulled over. And I thought that's where you were going with that. No. Anyway.
Now, listen, what about this one? I want to talk about this one.
Oh, God, I feel strong about this.
And in the area we live in, particularly where I live, there's 2 crossings through a shopping centre. And the topic is pedestrians who should be subjected to double demerit points.
Yes.
Or at least warnings. That they take an inaudible amount of time to walk across the street. When they walk across the street, they're on the phone.
Yep.
Or they're doing text messages.
Yep.
Or they turn around and talk and chat.
Yep.
If you walk across the street, walk across the street.
Agree.
And what you got to remember is a crossing isn't a right just to walk.
No.
Too many people at crossings, I'm telling you, they just walk out.
They walk out. No, you've got to make a silent contract with the driver.
Exactly right. Yep. You are supposed to stop.
Yeah.
And wait for the car to notice you, and then you walk across.
I feel so strongly about this. I spend a lot of time travelling across the city, through Leichhardt, through to the other side of town, eastern suburbs, etc. And you see it through the middle of town more than anything. And I've come up with this idea that if it's okay for me to get fined for speeding or red light camera or whatever, what is stopping you? And I don't want to go hard first. You will get 6 points. Richard Callender, as a walker, you will get 6 points. And if you cross, and there'll just be police everywhere, so we're giving people jobs, right? There'll be people there, and if you cross, say, against the lights or talk, you lose 3 points, right? And eventually, and it's subjected on evenings, public holidays, whatever, I'm going double in. You've got to go double demerits because that's dangerous. It's dark. And if you lose all your points, you're not allowed to walk.
Well, Imagine if you turn up the shopping
You're not allowed to walk anywhere.
And there's 50 people there, 25 are in wheelchairs while 25 people pushing.
Yeah.
Wait, mate, you're not in the wheelchair. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to walk anymore.
I got double demerited. Now, you've gone with the wheelchair.
Oh, mate, I don't mind walking across streets anywhere you want. But it's in busy areas and there's there's going to be, there was one kid hit down near I was about, 3 months ago.
Yep.
He was taken to hospital anyway, broken legs and that.
Yeah.
It was his fault.
Yeah.
He was on his phone.
Well, he had headphones in as well, not only on the phone, so you're not listening.
And just walked across the street, not across, he just walked across the street.
Right. Got cleaned up, yeah. No, I think there's a lot of merit in it, but rather than wheelchair, I want to reintroduce the pogo stick. You'd be allowed to pogo from suburb to suburb, but you're not allowed to walk. And look, I don't want to be silly about this. After 6 months, you'd get a point back.
I think you are being silly.
Okay, fair enough. I feel very strongly about it. Hey, what about last night? Just quickly when we're getting the food, because if there's one thing I love better than free beer, it's free food. And we got there about 10 minutes before they were about to cut off and I just went downtown. What about that beef? I'd never heard of him. They said.
Well, let me just tell you. So the beef was magnificent. It was Angus beef for those people that know the different qualities of meat. Well, this poor young girl that was there, she would have been probably 18. Just grab a plate there, sir. She was very polite and all that.
She was.
And Sparty asked her where Angus was and if Angus was around so he could thank him for his beef.
Because
poor girl.
You know what I'm thinking? Most of the time I do stuff like that, there's been about 40 people already do it on the night, and obviously no one had, so it says something about that.
No one would have done that.
Yeah,
she didn't know who Angus was.
No, she didn't know Angus
Never met Angus, didn't know how it was.
I reckon she went home to her dad and said, Dad.
The bloke asked me who Angus was. Who was Angus with the beef? You did make a
impression.
What did you say? A spectacle of yourself with the
walking across. Yeah,
with the muscles.
Nothing wrong with having 20. There was 30 there. I knew it was closing time, so I got 20. What's wrong with that?
They were nice muscles.
Oh, how good were they? What about the prawns?
The prawns were nice.
Very fun.
My youngest daughter didn't want any prawns. I said, why not? Then I looked in their eyes and I said, I'll peel them for you. Went back and got 10.
Excellent. What about when I went for the rerun to go back to get them, and they just closed, and I came back with a plate of fruit, and you said they're not prawns.
They're not prawns. Now, listen, we're going to do an AFL topic next week, but I've got an NRL. So we're, 5 weeks away from the NRL.
Yep.
You're choosing your NRL team. What Seinfeld character are you going to put in your team and why?
Mine's pretty simple, and he only ever went by one name, and I checked this out, and the character was Phil, and he was the one that was in the car with Elaine and took it out.
What? Took it out.
Took it out.
Who was the same bloke off Jag. He was a removalist. He was the same character. The bloke who took it out was off Jag.
I never watched Jag.
Yeah.
That was a different sort of... You watched Jag, did you?
Yeah. Watched Jag. The show's Jag, people.
Anyway, Phil...
He took it out.
He took it out.
What do you mean he took it out? He took it out.
So anybody's as brazen, strong, on the front foot as that, I want as my general. I want him at 6 or 7. I want him directing the team around. He's not scared to take on anything. He's also not scared to be innovative, to just do something that's unexpected. So Phil, I wish I had a surname for him. Phil, he took it out, is my player I'd have.
I don't know.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
I reckon you do. You just...
No,
someone of your ability.
Sometimes I like to be a little bit more creative. I think this just hits me in the face. And in this day and age where there's men's and women's playing, I think I'd play Babs.
Really?
Yeah, I think Babs, she's solid, strong,
yeah.
Stood up for herself,
yep.
when she left the job there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd have to throw Babs. I'm really keen on it.
Well, you're allowed to. Yeah. I'm not going to judge
of course,
you.
Everyone knows who Babs is.
Yeah, Babs.
It's Kramer's mum.
Exactly.
She's a star.
And she named her son Cosmo as well. So she's not scared of the big challenges. Oh, well, is that about it?
Episode 3, I hope you enjoyed it. We talked about public handholders. Can you believe them? Oh, Sammy Dowd got in touch with us, of course, the double Bowser takers who do their grocery shopping at the petrol stations. Bunnings, should they have a bar? Pedestrians, subject to double merit points. NRL, we've spoken about plenty. Get in touch at Sparty Talkback, Sparty Talkback on Twitter, or mine's at Richie Please, PLZ, or, of course, at 5 Topics of Life. Episode 3, done and dusted. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm starting to wonder whether I am with this Flip.
Yep.
Have a good week.
Thanks. And if you call me a Flip, I'm happy with that.
No, G Flip.
Yeah.
There he is. Goodbye from him. Goodbye from me. Till next week. Stay happy, everybody.